5 foods that help fight against cancer and repair the body. If you're seeking to understand the single most critically important factor in determining whether an individual will develop cancer, then I urge you to set aside preconceived notions about genetics and even family history for a moment. What truly holds paramount importance is something profoundly intricate and dynamic, occurring within your body right now, at this very second. It's not a distant threat, but an ongoing process. Microscopic cancers, tiny clusters of abnormal cells, are not merely potentially forming within you, they are actively forming. This isn't a speculative theory, it's a well-established scientific reality. Every single person watching this video, every adult alive, has these nascent cancers. Yet, here's the crucial insight that most people simply don't grasp. Whether those microscopic cancers ever progress beyond their tiny, harmless state to become dangerous, life-threatening tumors depends entirely on 3 sophisticated defense mechanisms that your body intrinsically controls. Firstly, there's your immune system's remarkable ability to constantly detect, identify, and utterly destroy these abnormal cells before they can establish a foothold. Secondly, there's the intricate decision-making process of your blood vessel system. Will it choose to nourish these nascent cancers, providing them with the vital oxygen and nutrients they need to grow, or will it effectively starve them? And thirdly, your body's systemic inflammatory state plays a pivotal role, either acting as a protective blanket that smothers these cellular embers, or conversely, as a relentless wind that fans their flames into a raging inferno. Hello, I'm Dr. Becker. I practice as an emergency medicine physician, and I am also deeply involved in cancer research. Over the course of nearly 3 decades dedicated to understanding the complex ways the human body combats disease, I have witnessed firsthand the devastating consequences when these natural, built-in defense mechanisms falter or fail altogether. In such cases, people unfortunately develop aggressive cancers that, with the right support, could have potentially been halted in their tracks. But, equally compelling, I have also observed something truly remarkable and profoundly hopeful. I've seen how specific, everyday foods, consumed in precise and scientifically validated amounts, possess the extraordinary capacity to activate and empower these very same defense systems. This holds true even for individuals over 60 years of age, whose immune systems might be considered less robust, and even for those who have already received a cancer diagnosis. In this comprehensive video, I am going to reveal 5 specific foods, supported by robust clinical studies, that have been definitively proven to actively combat cancer at its most fundamental, cellular level. We will embark on a detailed exploration of precisely how each one of these incredible foods works, operating through multiple interconnected pathways to strategically starve tumors of their necessary sustenance, significantly boost your natural immunity, and actively repair damaged tissues throughout your body. Most importantly, I will provide you with the exact amounts and preparation methods that researchers meticulously utilized in human studies, not mere speculation or anecdotal evidence, but actual, scientifically verified doses that demonstrably worked in real people. This information is designed to be immediately actionable and empowering. Before we dive deeper, please allow me a quick favor. I frequently receive messages from people who've consistently watched several of my videos, benefiting from the information, yet they later discover they haven't actually subscribed to the channel. Could you please take just 2 seconds right now to double-check your subscription status? It's completely free, requires minimal effort, and it immensely helps this channel to reach an even broader audience. Individuals who are desperately searching for this life-changing information. Your small action truly makes a significant difference. Now, let's address a profound biological reality that most people remain completely unaware of. At any given moment, without any symptoms or diagnosis, you actually harbor thousands of microscopic cancers within your body. This isn't a controversial theory or a dramatic exaggeration. It is a foundational, established fact of modern science. Consider this. When researchers perform autopsies on individuals who have died from accidents, people who had no prior cancer diagnosis, who exhibited no symptoms whatsoever, they consistently discover microscopic clusters of cancer cells in various organs. For example, scientific studies show that an astonishing 40% of women in their 40s already possess microscopic breast cancer. Similarly, 50% of men in their 50s have microscopic prostate cancer, and a staggering 70% of people in their 70s are found to have microscopic thyroid cancer. Yet, in the vast majority of these cases, these microscopic growths never develop into a clinical cancer that causes symptoms or requires treatment. Why? Because your body is equipped with those three phenomenal defense systems, constantly working in concert, diligently keeping them in check. It's a testament to the incredible resilience and self-protective mechanisms of the human body. The first of these remarkable internal defenses is your immune system. Within your body, you possess an intricate army of specialized cells. Cells known as natural killer cells, T cells, specifically cytotoxic T lymphocytes, and macrophages, among others. These vigilant cells act like highly trained security guards, continuously patrolling your entire body, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, meticulously searching for any abnormal or potentially cancerous cells. The moment they identify a microscopic cancer, a cellular intruder, they swiftly and effectively eliminate it. This extraordinary process of detection and destruction occurs thousands of times throughout your life, often without you ever being consciously aware of it. To draw an analogy, imagine a vast, complex building with a sophisticated security team that's constantly checking every room, every hallway, and every floor. The very instant they spot an intruder, they swiftly and discreetly remove them. Your immune system is performing this vital, tireless work day in and day out on a microscopic scale. The second critical defense mechanism is your body's ability to control and manage inflammation. Now, it's important to understand that inflammation itself isn't inherently bad. In fact, it's an absolutely essential process. When you accidentally cut your finger, for example, inflammation is a good thing. It's your immune system rushing to the site of injury, working to prevent infection and initiate the complex process of healing the wound. However, chronic inflammation is an entirely different phenomenon, and it's far more insidious. Chronic inflammation is akin to having a small, persistent fire smoldering silently within your body all the time, never quite extinguishing. This low-grade chronic blaze constantly releases a cascade of pro-inflammatory chemicals. These chemicals act as signals, essentially telling cells to grow faster, to divide more rapidly, and, critically, to ignore the normal biological stop signals that regulate healthy cell growth. Microscopic cancers absolutely thrive in this environment of chronic inflammation. It's precisely what they need to flourish. It's like generously pouring gasoline onto a tiny campfire, instantly causing it to flare up and expand. Conversely, if you can effectively control inflammation, keeping it consistently low, those microscopic cancers are starved of their fuel and tend to remain dormant, unable to grow or spread. But if inflammation is allowed to run wild and unchecked, those nascent cancers receive the clear signal and the necessary resources to expand aggressively. This is precisely why individuals afflicted with chronic inflammatory diseases often exhibit significantly higher rates of various cancers. It's not necessarily the disease itself that directly causes the cancer. Rather, it's the persistent, growth-promoting inflammatory environment that essentially grants cancers permission to grow, giving them the green light to proliferate. The third vital defense, and this is truly a concept that many people have never encountered before, is called angiogenesis. To grasp its importance, consider that every single cell in your body requires a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients, which are delivered exclusively by tiny blood vessels. Your organs are intricately laced with a vast network of these microscopic blood vessels, bringing everything cells need to survive and function. But here's where it gets truly fascinating. Microscopic cancers, those tiny initial clusters of abnormal cells, are fundamentally unable to acquire blood vessels on their own. They are simply too small and lack the necessary mechanisms to do so. A cancer simply cannot grow larger than approximately 2 millimeters, roughly the size of a ballpoint pen tip, without its own dedicated blood supply. At this size, it effectively hits a natural growth limit and stops developing further. It remains harmless and contained. However, if that cunning cancer manages to trick your body into growing new blood vessels directly towards it, everything changes in an instant. Once these blood vessels successfully reach the tumor and begin to feed it a steady stream of oxygen and nutrients, it can explode in size, growing an astonishing 16,000 times larger in as little as 2 weeks. To put that into perspective, 16,000 times represents the staggering difference between a completely harmless speck of cells and a rapidly growing, potentially deadly tumor. The natural process of growing new blood vessels is called angiogenesis. It's a normal and healthy process essential for things like healing wounds or tissue repair. But when cancers maliciously hijack this physiological process, that's precisely when they become dangerous and life-threatening. The incredible news is that your body possesses the inherent power to say a definitive no to that cancer's request for new blood vessels. When your anti-angiogenic defense system is robust and strong, those blood vessels are never allowed to grow, and the cancer remains microscopic and benign forever. However, when this crucial defense is weakened or compromised, new blood vessels proliferate, the cancer explodes in size, and that, unfortunately, is when people receive a devastating cancer diagnosis. So, the critical question becomes, how exactly do specific foods activate and bolster these three incredible, life-preserving defense systems? Let me now systematically break down the underlying science for you. And as promised, I will provide you with the precise amounts and optimal preparation methods for each food. The first food, green tea. I want to emphasize why green tea is so exceptionally powerful in this context. Green tea is rich in a unique class of compounds known as catechins. Specifically, one catechin stands out, EGCG, which is short for epigallocatechin galate. You don't need to commit that long name to memory, but it is absolutely vital to understand the profound biological effects it has. I have personally studied this remarkable compound in the laboratory for many years, witnessing its capabilities firsthand. EGCG is a natural chemical intrinsically found within tea leaves. When you brew a cup of tea, this potent EGCG readily dissolves into the hot water, making it available for your body to absorb. Whether you opt for convenient tea bags, traditional loose leaves, or finely ground matcha powder, you are effectively harnessing the power of this compound. Now, what exactly does EGCG accomplish once it enters your body? It performs three absolutely critical functions. First, it significantly lowers systemic inflammation, often quite dramatically. Researchers at the prestigious University of California conducted a study where they measured key inflammatory markers in participants both before and after they consumed green tea daily for 8 weeks. They observed substantial reductions, ranging from 30% to 50%, in major inflammatory markers such as C-reactive protein, interleukin-6, and tumor necrosis factor alpha. These are reductions typically seen with pharmaceutical interventions, yet they were achieved simply by consuming a natural beverage. This shows its profound impact on your body's inflammatory state. Second, EGCG acts as a powerful stimulant for your immune system, specifically boosting the activity of those vital natural killer cells we discussed earlier. A study conducted at Brigham Young University provided older adults with 3 cups of green tea daily over a period of 3 months. At the conclusion of the study, they measured the function of their natural killer cells and found that activity had increased by an astonishing 47%. This means these crucial immune cells were nearly 50% more effective at actively hunting down and destroying abnormal cells, including potentially cancerous ones, significantly enhancing your body's first line of defense. Third, and this mechanism is arguably the most remarkable and fascinating to me, EGCG directly interferes with and cuts off the blood supply to tumors. It is potently anti-angiogenic. In controlled laboratory studies, when tumors are exposed to EGCG, they are effectively prevented from recruiting the new blood vessels they desperately need to grow. Consequently, these tumors remain small and contained. In compelling animal studies, tumors in mice that were given green tea extract grew a striking 60% slower than tumors in mice that were given plain water. But, of course, the human studies are what truly matter most. Researchers in Japan meticulously tracked over 8,000 individuals for a full decade. They compared people who consistently drank 5 or more cups of green tea daily to those who consumed less than 1 cup. The results were astounding. The regular, heavy green tea drinkers exhibited 40% lower rates of colon cancer, 30% lower rates of stomach cancer, and 50% lower rates of esophageal cancer. Why such a pronounced effect, particularly on digestive cancers? Because when you sip green tea, it physically flows through your entire digestive tract, from your mouth, down your esophagus, into your stomach, and through your intestines. Every internal surface it touches gets directly exposed to these protective catechins, essentially painting a protective, anti-cancer coating on your digestive system. Now, it's crucial to understand how to prepare green tea correctly, as most people inadvertently do it wrong, diminishing its benefits. Never, under any circumstances, pour boiling water directly onto tea leaves or tea bags. That scalding water actually damages the delicate catechins you are trying to extract, making them less potent. Furthermore, drinking liquids that are excessively hot has been scientifically shown to increase the risk of esophageal cancer because it injures the delicate tissues lining the esophagus over time. Here's the optimal method: heat your water until it's very hot, but definitively not boiling, aiming for approximately 175 degrees Celsius, about 80 degrees Celsius. If you don't have a thermometer, simply bring the water to a full boil, then remove it from the heat and let it sit undisturbed for exactly 3 minutes. This allows the temperature to drop appropriately. Then, pour that perfectly heated water over your tea leaves or tea bags and allow it to steep for a full 5 minutes. This two-step process achieves several things. It gives the beneficial catechins ample time to dissolve thoroughly into the water, maximizing extraction, and it simultaneously allows the tea's temperature to drop to a safe and enjoyable drinking level. If you are using tea bags, make sure to dunk them repeatedly throughout those 5 minutes. This physical action helps to agitate and release more of those valuable catechins from the leaves into your cup. The effective daily dose, based on multiple human studies, is 2 to 3 cups consumed consistently, every single day, not just occasionally. If you desire the absolute maximum effect, consider incorporating matcha powder. Matcha is essentially finely ground whole green tea leaves. When you drink matcha, you are consuming the entire leaf, not just the compounds that dissolve in water, which means you get a far higher concentration of beneficial compounds. 1 cup of properly prepared matcha can deliver the catechin content equivalent to roughly 10 cups of regular green tea. The effective dose for matcha is 1 teaspoon of matcha powder, vigorously whisked into hot but not boiling water once daily. The second food, broccoli and other cruciferous vegetables. This vital family of vegetables includes powerhouse foods like cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale, cabbage, and bok choy. What makes these vegetables so uniquely special and therapeutically potent is a distinctive group of compounds called sulforaphanes. These are sulfur-containing molecules responsible for that characteristic, sometimes pungent smell that cruciferous vegetables emit when you cook them. While some individuals might find that aroma less appealing, it's crucial to understand that those sulfur compounds are, in essence, powerful medicine for your body. Sulforaphane performs 3 key functions within your body, actively supporting your anti-cancer defenses. First, it powerfully activates your immune system. Numerous studies have conclusively shown that sulforaphane significantly increases both the production and the activity of crucial immune cells, including natural killer cells and T cells, strengthening your body's ability to identify and eradicate abnormal cells. Second, it is an exceptionally potent anti-inflammatory agent. Sulforaphane achieves this by activating a vital genetic pathway within your cells known as NRF2. This NRF2 pathway is like a master switch that turns on your body's own internal production of antioxidants. Think of it this way. Instead of simply consuming antioxidants from external sources, sulforaphane instructs your cells to synthesize their very own far more powerful and comprehensive array of endogenous antioxidants, providing a robust defense against cellular damage and inflammation. Third, sulforaphane exhibits strong anti-angiogenic properties. It actively prevents microscopic tumors from being able to recruit the new blood vessels they need to grow and expand, effectively starving them. But here's an interesting detail that most people don't realize about broccoli. The part we commonly eat, those familiar tree-like florets, certainly contains sulforaphane, but the often discarded stalk actually contains twice as much. Most people reflexively throw the stalk away or leave it untouched on their plate, which is a significant mistake. The stalk is where a concentrated dose of this vital medicine resides. If you find its texture to be a bit tough, there are delicious and easy ways to prepare it. Try slicing the stalk on a diagonal. This creates more surface area, allowing it to cook faster and become beautifully tender when sautéed with garlic and a good quality olive oil. Alternatively, you can chop the stalk into small pieces and blend it seamlessly into a creamy soup. A broccoli soup made with the nutrient-dense stalks, some onions, garlic, rich vegetable broth, and a pinch of fragrant oregano is not only absolutely delicious but also incredibly loaded with sulforaphane. I actually have that specific recipe available in my materials if you're interested. The effective dose, derived from various studies, is approximately 1 cup of chopped broccoli daily, and crucially, this should include the stalk. Now, here's where the power of cruciferous vegetables gets even more interesting and potent. Broccoli sprouts. These are essentially 3-day-old broccoli plants, grown directly from the seeds. They resemble alfalfa sprouts, with thin white stems and tiny green leaves. What makes these sprouts truly extraordinary is their concentration of sulforaphane. They contain an astonishing 100 times more sulforaphane than mature broccoli. Yes, you read that correctly, 100 times. Why such a dramatic difference? Because the nascent plant, right after germination, is born with virtually all the sulforaphane it will ever produce, designed as its initial defense mechanism. But as it matures and grows into a large plant, that sulforaphane becomes distributed throughout its much larger structure. The sprout, therefore, is an incredibly concentrated package of this powerful medicine. A pivotal study conducted at Johns Hopkins University provided individuals with a high risk of cancer 2 ounces of broccoli sprouts daily, which is about half a cup. After just 3 months, researchers measured key cancer biomarkers in their blood and urine, and those markers had plummeted by an impressive 60%. Furthermore, the researchers discovered that consuming the sprouts upregulated over 200 different cancer-fighting genes in the participants' bodies. Imagine 200 genes actively turned on simply by eating sprouts. You can easily purchase broccoli sprouts at most health food stores, or, even better, you can grow them yourself at home. All you need are specific broccoli sprouting seeds, a standard mason jar, and about 3 days. Place 2 tablespoons of seeds in the jar, cover them with water overnight, then drain and rinse them twice daily. By day 3, you will have a fresh, vibrant batch of sprouts ready for consumption. It costs next to nothing and provides pharmaceutical-grade cancer protection right from your kitchen counter. The third food, papaya. This particular food often surprises people, as most don't typically associate vibrant tropical fruits with powerful medicinal properties. Papaya is an oblong, football-sized fruit. When it's perfectly ripe, you simply cut it in half, scoop out the small black seeds, and reveal its bright orange, soft, and naturally sweet flesh. That gorgeous orange hue comes from a class of plant pigments called carotenoids, specifically one known as beta-cryptoxanthin. This potent compound is not only anti-inflammatory and anti-angiogenic, but it also possesses a highly specific and beneficial effect on lung tissue. Multiple scientific studies have consistently shown that individuals who regularly consume high amounts of beta-cryptoxanthin exhibit dramatically lower rates of lung cancer. One significant study from Harvard University meticulously followed over 70,000 women for a remarkable 18 years, tracking both their dietary habits and cancer incidence. Women in the highest intake group for beta-cryptoxanthin had a substantial 31% lower lung cancer risk compared to women in the lowest intake group. Crucially, this protective effect remained true even for women who had smoked earlier in their lives. The beneficial impact was entirely independent of their smoking status, offering hope even to those with previous exposure. How does this work? When you consume papaya, the carotenoids are absorbed into your bloodstream and then preferentially accumulate in your lung tissue. Once there, they actively work to reduce local inflammation and effectively prevent the aberrant blood vessel growth that tumors desperately need to expand within the lungs. The effective dose, as determined by studies, is about 1 cup of fresh papaya daily, or if fresh is unavailable, 1.5 cups of frozen papaya chunks. Now, a brief but important word about fruit sugar. Some individuals mistakenly avoid fruit altogether because they've heard the simplified notion that sugar feeds cancer. This is a dangerous oversimplification that can lead to missing out on vital nutrients. Yes, it's true that cancer cells utilize glucose for energy, but it's equally true that all your healthy cells, including your brain and muscles, also rely on glucose. The real issue isn't glucose itself. It's the excessive insulin response triggered by consuming too much refined sugar and processed carbohydrates. Whole fruit certainly contains natural sugars, but it comes packaged in a completely different matrix, abundant with fiber, essential vitamins, powerful antioxidants, and in papaya's case, potent anti-cancer compounds. The fiber in whole fruit plays a critical role by slowing down the absorption of sugar, preventing the sharp insulin spikes that you would experience from consuming fruit juice or highly processed sugars. Studies that compare people who regularly eat whole fruit daily to those who actively avoid it consistently demonstrate that fruit eaters have lower cancer rates across the board. So please do eat the papaya, enjoy a variety of berries, and embrace whole fruits as a crucial part of your diet. Avoid fruit juice, which has been stripped of its beneficial fiber and effectively concentrated into a liquid sugar. Whole fruit, however, is unequivocally protective. If you are concerned about blood sugar levels, consider consuming fruit earlier in the day when your insulin sensitivity is typically highest, and pair it with a small amount of protein or healthy fat to further moderate sugar absorption. The fourth food, purple potatoes. If you've never encountered these before, you are truly in for a visual and nutritional treat. Purple potatoes are intriguing even from the outside, with their distinct purplish skin, but when you slice them open, the flesh within is a stunning, deep purple, almost violet hue. That incredible color is a vibrant indicator of the presence of anthocyanins, which are the same powerful compounds that give blueberries their deep blue color and red cabbage its rich red pigment. These are not just pretty colors. Anthocyanins are potent antioxidants and powerful anti-inflammatory compounds. Purple potatoes have been specifically studied for their remarkable anti-cancer effects, and the results are truly eye-opening. Researchers at Penn State University administered purple potato extract to laboratory animals. They observed that tumors in these animals grew an astonishing 65% slower compared to tumors in animals given regular white potato extract. When scientists meticulously analyzed the underlying mechanisms, they discovered that anthocyanins were performing two critical actions. They were effectively cutting off the blood supply to tumors, a classic anti-angiogenic effect, and crucially, they were actively killing cancer stem cells. Let me take a moment to explain cancer stem cells, because understanding them is absolutely critical to grasping cancer recurrence. When someone undergoes conventional cancer treatment, such as surgery, chemotherapy, or radiation, the primary goal is to remove or kill all existing cancer cells. Often, the visible tumor shrinks dramatically or even disappears completely. and the person may be declared cancer-free. However, sometimes, years later, the cancer tragically returns. How does this happen? The answer often lies with cancer stem cells. These are a small, highly resilient population of cells found within a tumor that possess the unique ability to regenerate the entire tumor even after most other cancer cells have been eliminated. They are akin to the seeds and deep roots of a dandelion. You can mow down the visible plant, cutting off all the growth above ground, but if the roots and seeds remain intact, the dandelion will inevitably grow back. Cancer stem cells are precisely those tenacious roots. Most chemotherapy drugs are highly effective at killing the bulk of rapidly dividing cancer cells, but often fail to eradicate these resilient stem cells. Purple potatoes, specifically the anthocyanins concentrated within them, have been conclusively shown to kill cancer stem cells, particularly in colon cancer. A groundbreaking study at Ohio State University exposed colon cancer stem cells to purple potato extract. The extract selectively killed the stem cells while remarkably leaving normal colon cells completely unharmed. This is what we refer to as selective toxicity, the ideal characteristic of any cancer treatment. Kill the cancer, spare the healthy tissue. How do you prepare purple potatoes to harness their benefits? Any way you would cook regular potatoes. You can bake them, steam them, roast them, or sauté them. I particularly enjoy making a vibrant purple potato soup. Simply dice the potatoes, sauté them with onions and garlic, add vegetable broth, simmer until they're soft, then blend until creamy. The color is absolutely stunning, a deep, rich purple, and it's packed with anthocyanins. Here's a valuable pro tip. After you cook potatoes, allow them to cool completely, and then refrigerate them for at least several hours. This process creates something called resistant starch. The starch molecules within the potato rearrange themselves when they cool, becoming resistant to digestion in your small intestine. This brings two significant benefits. Firstly, they cause a much smaller blood sugar spike when you eventually eat them, which is excellent for metabolic health. Secondly, and perhaps even more importantly, they travel intact to your large intestine, where they become a primary food source for your beneficial gut bacteria. Your gut bacteria ferment this resistant starch and, in turn, produce short-chain fatty acids that are known to significantly reduce inflammation throughout your entire body. So, cooked and cooled purple potatoes provide you with powerful anti-cancer anthocyanins, plus resistant starch that nourishes healthy gut bacteria, which in turn reduces inflammation, ultimately contributing to cancer prevention. It's a cascade of interconnected health benefits. The effective dose is about 1 medium purple potato daily, or 1 cup of diced purple potatoes several times per week. The fifth food, pomegranate. This ancient and revered fruit has been cherished and utilized medically for thousands of years across various cultures. Pomegranates are typically about the size of a large apple, encased in a thick leathery skin and crowned with a distinctive calyx at the top. When you cut one open, it reveals hundreds of tiny seeds, each meticulously surrounded by a glistening little sac of deep red, jewel-like juice. These seeds are called arils, and they truly resemble edible rubies. The flavor is a unique and delicious combination of sweet and tart, with a distinctive complexity. Pomegranates contain a specific class of compounds called elagitanins. These are large, complex molecules responsible for pomegranate's vibrant color and its characteristic tartness. When you consume pomegranate fruit or drink its juice, these elagitanins travel down into your colon, where your beneficial gut bacteria play a crucial role. They break down these larger molecules into smaller, more bioavailable compounds called urolithins. These urolithins are what actually provide the profound health benefits we associate with pomegranate. Elagitanins and their urolithin metabolites perform several incredibly important functions for cancer prevention and management. First, they are powerfully anti-angiogenic. They actively prevent microscopic tumors from growing the new blood vessels they need to expand and thrive. A compelling study conducted at UCLA gave pomegranate juice to men with prostate cancer who had previously been treated but whose PSA, prostate-specific antigen, levels were unfortunately rising. PSA is a blood marker that indicates prostate cancer activity, and a rising PSA after treatment usually signifies that the cancer is recurring or progressing. These men consistently drank 8 ounces of 100% pomegranate juice daily. The researchers meticulously tracked their PSA doubling time, the period it took for their PSA levels to double, which is a key indicator of how fast the cancer is growing. Before they began drinking pomegranate juice, the average PSA doubling time was a concerning 15 months. After starting pomegranate juice, this average was dramatically extended to 54 months. While the cancer was still present, its growth had slowed down profoundly. Some men were able to continue on pomegranate juice for years with remarkably stable PSA levels, effectively avoiding the need for more aggressive and invasive treatments. The researchers strongly believe that the potent anti-angiogenic effects of L-tannins effectively starve the microscopic cancer cells, preventing them from expanding and becoming more dangerous. Second, and equally fascinating, L-tannins specifically nourish and promote the growth of a particular gut bacterium called Akkermansia mucinifila. This is recognized as one of the most vitally important bacteria in your gut for overall health and, crucially, for cancer prevention. Akkermansia resides within the protective mucus layer of your intestines. When you consume alagitannins from pomegranate, they travel to your colon and stimulate your gut to produce even more mucus. More mucus essentially means more hospitable habitat for Akkermansia to flourish and multiply. Why does this matter so profoundly? Akkermansia plays a critical role in communicating with your immune system through the gut wall. It sends out specific signals that actively activate your cancer-fighting immune cells. Studies in cancer patients receiving immunotherapy, treatments designed to unleash the immune system against cancer, have revealed a groundbreaking insight. Patients who respond well to these therapies, whose immune systems successfully attack the cancer, almost invariably have high levels of Akkermansia. Conversely, patients who do not respond to these treatments often lack this crucial bacterium, in a truly astonishing finding when researchers transplanted Akkermansia from responding patients into non-responding patients. Those previously unresponsive patients suddenly began to respond effectively to their immunotherapy treatment. A single bacterial species made the profound difference between life and death. How then do you effectively increase your Akkermansia levels? Pomegranate is one of the most effective and delicious ways. The recommended dose is 8 ounces of 100% pomegranate juice daily. It is absolutely essential to ensure it is 100% juice, not a juice cocktail with added sugars and artificial ingredients. Pure pomegranate juice is naturally tart. If you find it too intense, simply dilute it with water. For example, 4 ounces of juice mixed with 4 ounces of water. Make this a daily habit. You can also directly eat the pomegranate seeds, arils. They are delicious, sprinkled on salads, added to yogurt, or simply eaten by the handful as a snack. One whole pomegranate typically contains about 3/4 of a cup of these nutrient-dense seeds. Eating one whole pomegranate every few days, or consistently drinking 8 ounces of its juice daily, will effectively provide the L-tannins you need. Within a week, your gut bacteria composition will begin to shift positively. Within a month, your Akkermansia levels can increase substantially, leading to enhanced immune signaling. A practical anti-cancer protocol, combining all 5 foods. Now, let me provide you with a practical, easy-to-implement protocol that seamlessly combines all 5 of these powerful foods into your daily routine. This protocol is carefully based on extensive research and my own clinical experience with patients. Start your morning with green tea. Begin your day with 2 cups of green tea, ideally consumed. With breakfast, remember to use the proper brewing method I described. Heat water to about 175 degrees Celsius, or boil and let sit for 3 minutes. Pour over tea, steep for 5 minutes, and then let it cool to a safe drinking temperature. Sip it slowly, allowing its benefits to unfold. Mid-morning papaya snack. Around mid-morning, enjoy a healthy snack of papaya. Aim for 1 cup of fresh or frozen chunks. If you're still feeling hungry, consider adding a small handful of nuts or seeds for some additional protein and healthy fats. Lunchtime, broccoli, boost. For lunch, make sure to include either broccoli sprouts or cooked broccoli with the stalk. You could add half a cup of vibrant sprouts to a sandwich or a fresh salad, or enjoy 1 cup of steamed broccoli as a nutritious side dish. Mid-afternoon, green tea. In the mid-afternoon, have another cup of green tea. By this point in the day, you will have consumed 3 cups, reaching the therapeutic dose proven in studies. Dinner with purple potatoes. For dinner, make purple potatoes a regular and colorful rotation in your meals. You can bake them, roast them, sauté them, or prepare that delicious, visually striking soup I mentioned earlier. Remember to let them cool completely after cooking, then refrigerate them if you want to maximize the resistant starch benefit, and then gently reheat. Before bed, pomegranate juice. Before settling down for the night, have 8 ounces of 100% pomegranate juice. Dilute it with water if needed to temper the tartness. Consuming it before bed allows your gut bacteria all night to diligently work on those L-tannins, effectively feeding your beneficial Akkermansia while you sleep, optimizing its immune-boosting effects. My pro tips from 3 decades of clinical practice. Here are some invaluable pro tips gleaned from my 3 decades of clinical practice, which will help you maximize the benefits of this dietary approach. 1. Consistency matters more than intensity. Eating these powerful foods just once or sporadically won't produce significant lasting changes. The true protective effects emerge when you commit to eating them daily, week after week, month after month. Your immune function doesn't instantly transform, it gradually improves over time. Systemic inflammation begins to come down over several weeks. Your Akkermansia populations in your gut build up substantially over the course of a month or more. This is a profound lifestyle shift, not a quick fix or a temporary cleanse. Embrace it as a long-term strategy for health. 2. Buy frozen when fresh isn't available or affordable. Don't let seasonal availability or cost be a barrier. Frozen papaya chunks, frozen broccoli, and even frozen pomegranate arils are all excellent alternatives. Often, produce is frozen at its peak ripeness, which means it retains its bioactive compounds, vitamins, and minerals even better than some fresh produce that might have spent weeks in transit or storage. Stock up your freezer. 3. Communicate with your oncologist. If you have an active cancer diagnosis or are currently undergoing treatment, it is absolutely essential to inform your oncologist that you are incorporating these specific foods into your diet. The good news is that none of these foods are known to interfere with standard cancer treatments. In fact, cutting-edge research strongly suggests they can enhance treatment effectiveness, particularly for immunotherapies, by priming your immune system and reducing inflammation. However, your doctor should always be aware of everything you are doing as part of your comprehensive care plan. 4. These foods work best as part of a broader anti-inflammatory diet. While these 5 foods are incredibly potent, they are not a magic bullet to counteract an otherwise unhealthy diet. Don't fall into the trap of eating these 5 beneficial foods and then loading up on highly processed meats, fried foods, excessive refined sugars, and inflammatory vegetable oils. That would be taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Instead, make these 5 foods the foundational pillars of your diet. Then, build around them with other whole, unprocessed foods like wild-caught fish, a variety of nuts and seeds, healthy fats like extra virgin olive oil, and an abundance of other colorful vegetables and fruits. Think of it as creating a synergistic, anti-cancer environment within your body. 5. Address the elephant in the room. What if you've already been diagnosed with cancer? This is a question many people ask, and it's deeply important. What if you have received a cancer diagnosis, or what if your cancer is advanced? Are these foods still relevant and beneficial? The unequivocal answer is yes. but it comes with crucial, realistic expectations. These foods are emphatically not a replacement for conventional cancer treatment. If you have a tumor that requires surgical removal, please pursue that surgery. If your oncologist recommends chemotherapy or radiation, take those recommendations very seriously, as they can be life-saving. However, these foods can and should be seamlessly integrated into your existing treatment plan. The scientific research increasingly demonstrates that they can make conventional treatments work more effectively. They can significantly reduce unpleasant side effects, and they may even help to prevent cancer recurrence. I have personally witnessed patients who combined aggressive conventional treatment with these targeted dietary strategies. Their outcomes were consistently superior to those patients who relied solely on conventional treatment. They experienced a better quality of life throughout their arduous treatment journey, fewer debilitating side effects, and in many cases, significantly longer survival times. These foods empower your body to support its own healing processes. One final critical thing I need to address is the pervasive emotion of fear. If you are watching this video because you or someone you deeply love has been diagnosed with cancer, it is absolutely normal and human to feel scared, even terrified. Cancer is a frightening adversary, but fear, left unchecked, can paralyze you, and paralysis is your greatest enemy in this fight. Here's what I consistently tell my patients. You possess far more control over your health than you might currently believe. While you cannot instantaneously control the cancer you may already have, you absolutely can control what you choose to put into your body, starting right now, today. Every single cup of green tea you drink is actively activating and empowering your immune system. Every serving of broccoli, especially the stalk and sprouts, is strategically starving microscopic tumors. Every glass of pomegranate juice is nourishing and feeding the vital gut bacteria that communicate directly with your cancer-fighting immune cells. These are not passive hopes or wishes. These are concrete, actionable steps with measurable, verifiable biological effects within your body. You are not helpless. The research is profoundly clear. People over 60, individuals who have already been diagnosed with cancer, and even those with known genetic risk factors, all of them can derive immense benefit from consistently incorporating these powerful foods into their diet. A landmark study from Harvard University tracked over 50,000 men for an astonishing 20 years. The results were unambiguous. Men who consistently consumed the highest amounts of the foods I have discussed today, cruciferous vegetables, green tea, and carotenoid-rich fruits like papaya, experienced a remarkable 50% lower overall cancer mortality rate compared to men who consumed the lowest amounts of these foods. Think about that for a moment. 50%. That is not a minor statistical blip. That is a life-altering, potentially life-saving difference for countless individuals. These aren't exotic superfoods sourced from the depths of the Amazon rainforest or requiring specialized trips to obscure markets. Green tea, broccoli, papaya, purple potatoes, and pomegranate. You can find all of them readily available at your regular grocery store. The total cost for a week's supply of these potent, health-promoting foods is often no more than $20 to $30. Compare that minuscule investment to the astronomical cost of cancer treatment, the profound cost of lost quality of life, and the devastating cost of a shortened lifespan. There is simply no comparison. If you have found this information to be valuable, insightful, and empowering, then I have one more urgent request for you. Please do something. Share this video immediately with someone you know who desperately needs to hear this message. It could be a parent, a spouse, a close friend, or a colleague. Statistically, cancer will affect 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women during their lifetime. The practical, science-backed information contained within this video truly has the potential to save a life. Also, be sure to check out my next video, where I will meticulously break down the common foods that actually increase your cancer risk. The insidious culprits hiding in plain sight that most people eat every single day without realizing the profound danger they pose. I'll see you in the next one. Dr. Becker, signing off.